Welcome back to Fight News Now. It's John Pollock along with Cody Saftik and Robin Black. We're continuing to look at the UFC's Sunday night card in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Obviously, a number of Canadians on this card. And let's start off with Elias Theodorou. He will be in action taking on Cesar Ferreira. And with Elias Theodorou, we haven't seen him since June when he came off the first loss of his career, defeating Sam Alvey. This is a fight, I think it's a really close fight. I think it's certainly Elias Theodorou. You would look at his wrestling as possibly being a factor in this fight. But Cesar Ferreira, now 10 fights deep into his UFC run, is going to be a very difficult opponent for Theodorou.
Yeah, 10 fights into his UFC career, and as you're talking about the wrestling being an element for Theodorou, 10 fights for Cesar Ferreira, never been taken down his entire UFC career. As well as that, he's made a return back to MMA Masters. I know he's spending a lot of time with the Black Zillions, always known as Vitor Belfort's protege. But now that he's back at full-time with a team that recognizes him, they know him, they know his style. I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. Now on a 3-fight winning streak, everyone talks about, well, this guy might be chinny. Okay, well then forget it. Let's just use that black belt. Let's use that wrestling. And that's exactly what he's been doing his last number of fights. His last time out against Jack Hermanson, uses that wrestling, ends up locking up the submission, and a beautiful submission. He's well more versatile than people give him credit for. And this is a huge fight with Elias, because Elias not likely to get taken down himself, so if that just creates this striking battle, we've seen Elias improving very much in that kicking game, being able to outpoint guys. And just from looking at tape of both guys, Ferreira was more of the power striker, but Elias seems much quicker than him, so he'll be able to employ that similar tactic.
And you saw that in that loss to Thiago Santos. I mean, a fight that he lost, but I mean, I think Elias Theodorou, he showed incredible toughness in those 3 rounds, and that could certainly play a big part in this.
That's always been a big part of Elias, and the one thing is he's going to keep pushing, and he's going to keep pushing, and he's going to demand a lot from you psychologically and physiologically. And Muchante is somebody who hasn't always shown the best as it wears on. As he starts to fatigue, he may second guess himself. So that's an element at play. Listen, I'm biased. Elias is a very close friend. I was his manager right through to the Ultimate Fighter before we became UFC broadcast partners. And I remember meeting him. He was 1-0, and this handsome, charming, lovable character. And all I was thinking was, man, I hope this guy can fight. Because if he can, he's going to make a great living. He's a lovable guy, but he also is just very hard to fight. He doesn't fight the way you expect. He's hard to read. He's a little bit off kilter with the way he does everything, but it works because he's developed the feel. And he believes in himself. He believes in himself fully, and he knows the fight will get easier for him as the fight goes on, or it does almost always, because he's psychologically prepared to go into the deepest depths that you can find in a fight, and he'll bring you there, and he believes he'll be the better man when you get there. And that's how he's going to approach this fight as well. And if he does, if he can get into that 3rd round, that's when he's going to really be able to come on.
In a fight that's going to open up the main card, we have lightweights Paul Felder and Alessandro Ricci, depending on which he is going by now. In my opinion, this is the sleeper fight on the card. Maybe not as many people as familiar with Ricci, but they know the style of Paul Felder. This, to me, is a perfect stylistic fight for both, and I feel that this could really impress a lot of people. This could be your fight of the night.
I could absolutely got to agree with that. When I look at Alex Ricci, this is a guy I've match made a couple of his pro fights, and every time Alex Ricci's in a situation, guys want to take him down, not Paul Felder. Paul Felder thrives on this opportunity to stay in front of a guy and throw strikes, and I think with Alex Ricci, when you look at past performances against E.J. Brooks and Ryan Healy in his UFC debut against Jeremy Kennedy, they're interested in holding him against the cage. Give me this free space, give me this open range, and give me a former Muay Thai stylist, a guy that has over 40 Muay Thai fights like Alex Ricci, in a pure stand-up battle. He hasn't had that in a long time. That excites me, and I do think, exactly, dark horse for fight of the night.
Only up in Canada would we be talking about Alex Ricci when he's facing Paul Felder, who we've seen how good Felder looks. But it's because we know Alex on a level that the odds makers don't understand, that they don't know him. However, the issue for Ricci is he doesn't always perform to his potential, and a lot is being asked of him here in the main card. If he opens up, he will surprise Paul Felder. It is going to be an exciting fight. I can't wait.
Sunday morning, if people want to get in any last-minute questions ahead of this card, Robin, what is the best avenue to go?
Hey, man, hit me up on Twitter @RobinBlackMMA and use the hashtag #AskRobinBlack. Saturdays and Sundays, often on the weekend, Chase Kaiser and I take your questions, and we will answer them.